Coach, does it feel like the biggest game of the year tonight? What's kind of the feelings you're here with the guys?
Yeah, it's a playoff type game, right? For sure. I mean, big points up for grabs here, and just feel like every game here has that feel to it.
The Chicago Wolves kind of struggled or sputtered for much of the season, and all of a sudden the last few weeks they've just been on fire. What seems to be different about them now from earlier in the year?
Good question. I mean, they seemed like, start of the year they had some injuries and they were battling some lineup things, and they're getting guys back here, and they've been playing some real good hockey here after the holidays.
What kind of stands out about them? What makes them a challenge?
They defend well. They're good offensively off the rush. They do a lot of good things. Obviously the goaltending there has been good for them, and their special teams, especially the PK, has been good.
They seem to have a good balance too. I think they got like 8-9 guys with 40 or more points. I mean, is this a team with a lot of depth? Maybe more depth than a lot of teams you face?
Yeah, I don't know more. They do have depth, right? I mean, if you look at their lineup, they have guys that have experience, played in the NHL, just like we do, and so I think it's going to be an evenly match up here.
Do you kind of tap into the playoff experience our guys got last year for this final week? Does that come in handy, even though it's not the playoffs yet, it's still the regular season?
Yeah, not so many guys left from last year's team, but we do have some guys left that were here, and even guys that have been there before themselves, and Philper and Gust and those guys. So yeah, lean on those guys for sure.
You got Reichel back, Vlasic back. I mean, obviously they're welcome additions. What does that do for the team, just not just on the ice, but emotionally right now for this big week?
Yeah, big boost for sure.
Can you tell us at this point what line Reichel's going to play with? Who are you going to send him out there with?
Yeah, he's going to start with Sini and Gust. They've had some good success in the past, so looking forward to seeing them again.
I'm sure you've chatted briefly, at least with Reichel since he returned. I guess what did that stint up there the last month in Chicago seem to do for him?
Just the games I watched, he was good. We talked about it. He feels like his game has matured. He's playing on the inside a little bit more. To quote him, he got a couple of greasy goals in terms of tips and being around the net a little bit. Even his first 3 games when he came up there right after the holidays, I thought were good. So lots of good progression for his game overall this year. So I think he feels good about where he's at right now.
Schedule makers didn't do you guys many favors. 3 games to wrap up in 3 days to wrap up the regular season. I mean, does that just drive you kind of crazy? I mean, it's out of your hands, it's out of your control, but you got to be kind of going, what were they thinking, huh? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like you said, it's out of our control, so we try not to focus on it, just take it day by day, and making sure guys get enough rest and eat the proper food so we can play the next game is the biggest thing for us right now.
So how hard is it to flip the switch and dive in? You go from being out of the playoffs of the Blackhawks to being in a playoff race right now with the IceHogs. How challenging is it to flip the switch to that?
I think it's pretty easy. I would say. I think I know this system-wise we play the same way with Chicago and with Rockford. So I know how to play in the AHL and I know what I have to do, and so yeah, it's been good.
It's kind of a different team since you were here before with some new additions. How much time is it going to take you to get used to the new guys and adjust to them?
Yeah, I guess we'll see tonight how we play, and it was nice to meet the new guys, and they all look pretty good on the ice. So can't wait to play with them tonight.
You've got a lot of NHL experience under your belt now. What would you say you've improved most in your game since you've last been here?
Just how to create my own space in the corner, how to second, third efforts in the corners, and little confidence plays in there too, and I felt good up there.
What are you looking to keep working on now while you're back in Rockford?
It's gonna be a big summer, but I don't want to think about it right now. I just want to focus on the playoff push, and then we'll see.
What message did the Blackhawks management give to you when they told you they were sending you back here for this final week of the regular season?
Yeah, just play the same way like I played before. I'm young, but I can lead on the ice, bring the energy, and that's what I want to do.
Coach just said it's going to be you, Gust, and Sini on the line. That's a familiar group. What kind of describe the dynamic that the three of you have out there together?
Yeah, I would say we are not like the biggest guys, but we are like pretty skilled. Gusty has a good shot, and I think me and Sini bring the speed. So it's I think it's gonna fit good, and we play together. So we have chemistry from earlier this season.
Obviously, it's tough going from NHL to AHL sometimes, but also you get to jump right into a playoff push. What's just going through your mind as you did go in such high-stakes games right off the bat?
Yeah, it's going to be a good game tonight. I think we need those points in Chicago too, so it's a huge game, and but I'm excited for it. I like to have that challenge, and I think we're ready for it, and it's going to be a great game.
Does this feel like the biggest game of the year tonight?
Yeah, you don't want to, put all your eggs in one basket, but we still have, 4 games in 6 nights, so it kind of has that do or die feel to it for sure. But worst case scenario, we got the 3-3 to dig ourselves out of a hole if tonight doesn't go. But hopefully, we get a good start on the weekend with a win tonight.
Being with the Wolves last year, are you surprised at all at the way they've just surged and turned it on here at the end?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty historic franchise, winning all their championships over the years. So you can never count them out of it. And it's, where they were in the beginning of the year to now, yeah, they've definitely found a gear, and they're playing good hockey right now. So it should be a good test.
What goes through your mind when it's obviously one of the biggest games of the season, but you still want to stay in your game and not get too amped up for it? What's going through your head just through warm-up?
Yeah, once that puck drops and you're kind of out there, it's just another game. But at the same time, realizing, the game's on the line every time you step out there. So not taking your foot off the gas at any given moment, and, playing a full 60.
You got your line mate back in Lukas Reichel. What's that do for the team, not just on the ice, but emotionally? This week?
Yeah, he's a great guy to have in the room. He's always smiling, brings that positive energy, and then on the ice, his games speak for itself. He's a great player, skilled, and brings a lot of offense to the game. And then also getting Vlasic back on the back end is good for our group as well.
What about being at home for a game like this? How much does that help you guys?
Yeah, home ice is always great. We have great fans here. The BMO should be rocking and kind of get that playoff feel, and it should be exciting.
Played in a lot of big games, even just last year. How do you approach these big games, or you just treat them like any other game, or is there another gear that you reach down and inside for to pull? Yeah,
I think big players show up in big moments in big games. So I think once that puck drops, you got to realize what's on the line and kind of dig deep. And like I said, every time you step out there, the game could go one way or another. So. I think that's just a big part of it, and kind of having a good start tonight will be good for our group to emphasize what type of game is that online.
You've had the experience of the longer runs and being on the Wolves last year. What's it like for the younger players in this team who maybe don't have that experience? How much of a challenge is it this late in the year?
Yeah, guys who don't have it, I think that's what this league's about, is kind of getting that experience, and the older guys kind of leading the way in that. But for younger guys to play in these type of games, it's great for their development.